But
Yep, I was waiting for that. Hi, everybody.
moist.
No. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Ampistrano. I am your storyteller, D&D Lee, joined by this phenomenal cast. First off, a very special thank you to our sponsors and affiliations. Found familiar? Make sure to use D&D Lee and Ampistrano D&D when you check out for a percentage off of your purchase, as it does help to support the cast. Also, a special thank you to Idle Champions. You can go ahead and use the code that is on the overlay or by entering exclamation point idle in the chat to pick up a code that you can use to get an Electrum chest to use in your game. But before we get started, we of course have to do some introductions and any announcements we may have. So let's jump over to Sin. Can you tell me who you're playing as and any announcements you may have for this week?
Hi. My name is Cinzia, pronouns he, drip. I am playing Dampstone today, pronouns they, wet, and such, and I am happy to be here. Also, it's not this week, but I believe the week after, that there is a panel that I'm going to be on as part of a larger Ace Arrow event for the month of Pride hosted on the TTRP Gifts channel. So, come listen to me moderate a panel and just ask people, okay, but did you find out you were Ace before playing the games or after playing the games?
Yeah, that's valid. Thank you, Sin. Let's jump over to Dimples.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the captain of the Damp Daddy himself. I am Dimples and Dice. I will be playing Captain Draven, Tyborn, and Cribble. It's about to get real moist up in this place. Yeah. Do I have any announcements? No.
Love it. Perfect. Robo. I'm not even looking at the Zoom chat. I can see it out of the corner of my eye popping off. I'm not even looking over. Robo,
Gross.
save me. Who are you playing and any announcements you may have?
Hi, it's me, RoboGoblin, and stand by for on Monday. I'm gonna drop the TTRPGs for Sudan. If anybody wants to upload or submit their games and like the fuck and like get a lot of I don't want to talk. It's if they want to submit their games for TTRPGs, we're going to raise money for Concern Worldwide UK, and they're going to specifically open an event or a fundraising for Sudan, and that's where we're going to do. It's going to be all through Tiltify, and it's going to be awesome. And we hope to get over $3,000, and if we get over that or under that, that's very good. But next Friday, we're gonna have the Knowing Your Ace panel after your 30s. It's gonna be April Fair. It's gonna be Fernando. It's gonna be Gremlynnart and myself. It's gonna be on Friday, June 21st at 7 p.m. Pacific on my channel, TTR Picas. And that's it.
Awesome. Thank you, Robo. And last but certainly not least, the true owner of the channel. I am literally just here. Fair.
Hi, I'm Fair. I'll be playing Dampasdora Slipsun, your Battle Master Fighter. Pronouns are she, her for both of us. My announcements are, yes, come check out the Ace Con over on Robo's channel starting next week. And then also, if you want to support the Trevor Project, they do have Serious Dice and Watsy have a collab for some really beautiful Pride dice. And $30 of every purchase goes towards the Trevor Project. It is a limited edition set. I think they only made like 1,300 or so sets, so you should get yours now and help support a great cause.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. As a reminder, we use safety tools and content warnings throughout each game of Ampistrano, including doing multiple check-ins. As a content warning for this episode, deep and dark bodies of water, heightened levels of stress, descriptions of injured and slain individuals, existential crises, complex and complicated relationships, as well as we will be possibly going into some caves today, but we're going to stay far away from claustrophobia, things of that nature.
Will the caves be moist? Perhaps
Big
damp?
time.
Gonna be the driest caves you've ever like. Those,
Won't be sliding right into those.
And we at the
With
Haven
that-
and Vale want you to be safe. So if you need to step away,
get some
please
condensed
do.
milk.
You and your safety matter. We are very happy to be part of the Creators for Palestine event that Robo has put together. Our family that we have been matched with is the Karam family, who are trying to flee Gaza in order to start over in Seattle. They are nearing their goal of $50,000, but every little bit helps. You can enter !Karam, Karam, in the chat to get the link and information about the family as well. If you cannot give, because listen, I get it, times are tough right now, please retweet the GoFundMe link. Also, please consider checking out our Patreon, YouTube, TikTok, etc., and follow us on social media. It's a free and wonderful way that you can help us and support us as well. And if you are financially able to and want to, consider subscribing to our Patreon. We have a lot of sneak peeks to different things. We have playlists on there, some interviews as well, and it does help support the cast. Special thank you to Sphinx, Seven, Fluffy Snowfall, Chris Gideon, Buzz Lightyear, and Lily42 for your support. Last but not least, we were nominated for the Crit Awards for Best Overlay. So congrats to all nominated, and wishing the best of luck to everybody. If you would like to vote, cast your vote rather, you can type exclamation point CA in the chat, and a link to the voting form will pop up. Voting is live until July 7th. All right, y'all, unless there is anything else, without further ado. Oh, yes, Fair, go on.
I just want to just say a reminder that nobody is free until we're all free, and land back means land back for all indigenous and native peoples of different colonized lands. So, like, yes, absolutely keep your eyes on Palestine, absolutely keep your eyes on Sudan, but also Congo, Haiti, Hawaii, even like Puerto Rico, all of these places. I know I'm forgetting so many, but like they all also are deserving of our time and attention as we like work on decolonizing our world and making it a better place for everyone.
Agreed, Fair. You want Fair, take a point of inspiration for that reminder.
Drop that motherfucking mic.
Yeah, that's a really good reminder. So thank you for that. All right, y'all. Without further ado, let us go beyond the veil of Ampistrano.
No.
I see you backed off of that one, Robo.
No.
We are back.
Welcome back to Ampistrano.
Wow. Okay. So, when last we left our adventurers, they had had a rough first night in the shadow of the mountain as a number of wraiths decided to crash their camp. The group was able to fend them off and get some rest. As dawn broke the next morning and planning began, that is where we pick up. The sky seems to be an endless map of just overcast clouds and the light rain kind of falling around you. It's a lot lighter, obviously, the sun trying to peek through the clouds itself, but everything seems to have a tinge of gray. You notice that around you, you were starting to near the part of the mountain that is above the tree line. You're just in that kind of area that transitions to rocky areas ahead of you. It's a little bit chilly in the air as well. You can get a better glimpse of the abandoned camp, base camp rather. That's not too far from where you all are. But the day is yours. What are you all doing?
Just like the previous day, Diodora is the first one up, packed, ready to go, waiting for everybody to get their shit together.
I would suspect that Draven's not too far behind you. He wants to be done with this place entirely.
I think when Draven wakes up, he just sees Diodora pacing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, waiting.
And he just looks to you and just says, you might be even more impatient about this than I am. And I'm saying something.
I snarl a little bit. He says, yeah, we have to get up there.
Yeah, we got to get to Jorix ASAP. So this, whatever this is, we need to get it done.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Blackstone would also be coming out of stasis, seeing everybody being nervous and that other people are awake. It was, good morning. Well, I'm having a hard time calibrating what point in time we're in, but I think it's morning.
Hopefully it's the time where I don't get my ass beat.
There is a pause because there is like Blackstone thinking about everything coming up here, being like, I don't know if we're ready into that anytime soon, Chief. And goes, well, hopefully that time will arrive sooner than later. I do not know that it has yet arrived.
As soon as Toby starts hearing voices, it's I'm up.
Toby, Cribble is like waking up out of his stupor. They need somewhere to fight. Captain getting beat up again.
No, it's the time of waking for everyone, I believe.
Yeah, that's because y'all don't travel in people's hoods.
I traveled in my own hood. Does that count?
Nope. No one's carrying you in your own hood. Toby gets it.
It's very nice. I gotta admit that feels very nice. I get it into the thing before it. As I am getting the Toby yarn.
At some point, I should ask Corbin about that. But before we go forward on our journey, important thing I have, and like someone produces some kind of package and
Draven
pulls
rolls his
out
eyes.
a note addressed to Diodora and pulls out a note addressed to Toby and says, I've been asked to deliver these things to you.
Oh,
Diodora takes the note, gives it a look like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this?
Well, like, we're still in the area of this, I'm guessing, of this bubble. We're be at, like, at the last 5 minutes of the bubble. So it's not like, it's not like we're in unprotected space. And I was just like, well, I felt that this might be the best time when we're not in immediate peril or danger of our lives to perhaps read the note. I read mine yesterday. It came with an
Just-
item.
Diodora's just quiet. Like,
And Theodore,
one-
yours has a little bit of a
fucking
weight to it.
read.
Yours has
I
a little
just-
bit of a weight to it, I'll be honest.
I look at Diodora and notice that like they're just staring at the folded piece of paper, and I go, allow me to say that the person who gave me this is probably very understanding of how you receive messages and may have planned accordingly. I think you should open the note.
Yeah, she'll open the note. I do think that, like, you'll notice maybe a little bit of impatience on her face, and it's not like necessarily towards Blackstone. It's just like towards like
Auntie and ready to
am
be
trying
used.
to leave, and this is deterring me from leaving right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like, and it's like, yeah. But she'll open the letter.
Okay. So you open up your letter, Diodora, and what falls out of the envelope itself is it looks to be a crystal that is attached to kind of a piece of either thread or some kind of like strengthened piece of wheat. It's not like one of those major crystals of like an opal or a diamond. It looks like possibly one of those rocks that you might just pick up that is shiny along the riverbed around Illipin proper. And you notice that along the sides of it where it connects with the wheat or thread, there are a number of different languages present. And one of them, it's very crude, but you can see the very faint lines of shift weave attempt being placed here. What you can make out is it basically says turn crystal 3 times.
Okay, I do that.
Okay. After a moment, you hear in your head, no one else will hear this, but you hear Sam's voice popping in. Hey, Deidora. This is Sam. Oh, you probably already knew that because whoever I was speaking to gave you. Anyways, I'm wasting spell. I just wanted to say thank you because one, saving my life again, and I'm figuring out who I want to be. I was really inspired by you and Orion and everyone. So I think I've been learning some stuff at the temple. And might go a little bit cleric. I don't know. But you all have kind of opened up the world to me, and I want to give you this. This is a little thing that you can use to send messages either to myself or to other people in your group if you get separated on your journey. It can only hold one message at a time, but and it doesn't have to be words. It can also be images and stuff too. So yeah, I don't see you reading a lot, but I thought this would help. Okay, I gotta go, bye. It just cuts short.
Me ending a call.
Yeah.
Yeah, Diodora will, it's on this little, like, twine, she'll just put it on, like on her neck, wear it as a necklace. Yeah, I don't think she says anything to anybody about it.
Okay.
I open mine.
Okay. So Toby, you open yours, and you see that yours does have a letter, but accompanying it as well, it looks like almost little tree kind of ornaments that you may have seen kind of decorated around your house around the holidays, whether it's springtime or getting into the fall. And you see that there is a little owlbear that has been put together with what looks to be a pine cone. Its eyes have these two little black buttons, and little legs are made of some kind of timber wood, or it's hard to tell what exactly. It's made of like an amalgamation of different woods and flora and fauna around Illipin. And it's pretty small, but you can hold it in your hand. And it does smell of home. It smells of the trees of Illipin, cinnamon in the air as fall is settling in, fires, campfires, and apple pie and things like that. It had a little bit of warmth to you. The letter itself, it's not long. It's a couple of sentences of, hey Toby, I know I really don't know you as well as I know the others, which is also, I don't really know them that well either. Anyways, I just wanted to give you a little piece of home while you're traveling, because I am also away from home, and sometimes it sucks to be homesick. So I want this to be a reminder for you that home is wherever you carry it with you, and hope that it brings you warmth on the days that are the most troublesome. Bye! And that's it.
Look, everybody, look at this. And I show the owlbear.
Ah, is this a pine cone?
Yes, it is. It reminds me of home. And if I smell it, it brings back the memories of home.
Pine cones, owl bears, cheesecake. Noted.
And apple pie, cinnamon, and as well as different leaves. Did you know that leaves have a particular smell? Wait, why am I talking like a... No. Did you know that leaves have a different smell?
I have not smelled many leaves.
Oh, that's very true. I forgot that you couldn't. Okay. And I tried to minor illusion, like images, and it usually comes out as like fire, and in the fire you can see all the images. But I'm trying to minor illusion, and I can't.
Robo, roll a D100 for me, please.
Wait, what? 63.
63? Okay. And then can you roll a D12?
Ah, 12.
Okay. As you go to cast minor illusion, whatever you're trying to illusion to show the group, instead it's like your mind opens up to the group momentarily without needing Blackstone's ability for waiting rooms and conference calls to be able to share this information. And all of you will be able to see whatever it is that Toby is trying to illusion in this brief moment, and instead it'll all appear in your imaginations, in your heads instead. So you can still describe what it is, Toby, that you were trying to do. You can feel it's a flicker, like nature is still trying to respond to you. But this is what it can do in this moment.
And you see Toby playing outside with a baby owlbear. And you see from the distance that his mom is doing something in the kitchen. He just turns up and smells an aroma. And you see his mom calling for Toby that the pie is ready, and she puts a pie on the window and shows it to everybody. You see a tree. It looks kind of crooked, and Toby usually sits there, starts reading one of his favorite stories, adventure stories, usually one in the sea or whatever. And it's just a sense of, well, it feels homey. It feels comfortable, and it feels like Toby is happy. Did I just do that?
It seems that you did, but I'm not sure how.
I'm not sure either.
Interesting. Magic is unusual here.
That must have been from my mother's side then, because I couldn't feel anything from the earth.
Well, I suppose maybe having a piece of home is helpful in more ways than we realize.
Yeah. All right.
Oh,
Let's get ready.
Is everyone ready to go?
Theodora has been inching towards
You
the door this whole
see
time.
Tyborn doing the like Sonic Idol animation, looking at the
I'm like,
watch, tap
shut
the
the fuck
foot.
up. Shut the fuck up. I was gonna make the same reference. Shut the fuck up.
Happy Sonic's birthday month, by the way. So,
All right.
Happy Pride.
Hey, pass
So-
cool, bitches.
Aurea, Theodora, I think you're gonna have to carry Aurea. Aurea's asleep.
She's awake. She's just doesn't seem to be fully taking in everything that's going on here right now, and is kind of similar, has picked up on Theodora's like wanting to move along as well as Tyboard, and has been slowly inching towards the path heading up the mountain.
Right, well, then I suppose, and I just kind of walk up to where the door of this tiny hut would be, and like open the door and just watch the rest of the hut dissolve.
Absolutely, Aurea did not inch towards the door. Aurea went immediately out the door and is just zooming on away. Like, let's be honest here.
Yeah.
Aurea's not inching towards us. She's just straight up leaving.
Door opens.
Yeah.
But you all find yourselves on the kind of dead, grassy area that you all made camp at the night before. The mountain, one of many in this range, still looming above you, as you are on a slight incline right now. But it's up to you. What do you want to do?
I get on my baby. So when April is not here, it feels like I'm riding a Megazord if I get into the baby Bjorn.
Doesn't it
Like
feel
a
that
mecha?
even when- feels like Aurea's. It should feel like that regardless of whether or not April's here.
Yep. That's canon now.
You do lift up your coin.
Okay. Yeah, and let's go.
Okay. can all of you please roll a survival check to see how the progress goes, because we are going to speed up time a little bit.
Natural 20. That's 2 natural 20s with the gay die. So happy
That's
Pride.
a 24 for Theodore.
That's an 18 for Blackstone. That's a very sad shake of the head for our captain.
Oh,
4.
do we need to roll for Oria or no?
I'm assuming Oria is flying right now, so no.
Okay.
You will not. So 4 for Tyborn. Okay. For the
My
next... Oh, go ahead.
my complete amount is 27, by the way.
Damn. Okay. You all try...
Hold on.
Okay.
Can I make a case for something else?
Sure.
Rolling
I am always open to that, yes.
So I've been mapping this place as we got here, and obviously I don't know everything.
Sure.
But I imagine that at least some of the topography is familiar at this point, unless shit is just wildly changing in every scene.
No, it's you have some familiarity, yes.
So could I make a case for rolling with my navigator's tools instead of a survival roll?
I'll allow it. Yeah. I'll allow it.
No.
Well, it's better than the last roll, but it's not great. It's 13.
Okay. Still better, but yeah, not by much.
Hey, there's a big difference between a 13 and a 4.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah, the difference is 9.
The difference is 9.
Thank you for your math expertise.
Okay. So with those rolls, you do trek up the mountain. At this point, you are rising above, well above the tree line. The area you are now traversing it's not even complete kind of a pathway. Instead, you're kind of stepping over a bunch of rocks. So you're having to move a little bit more carefully because the rocks are constantly shifting as the weight is being pressed onto them. You can see in the distance, every so often, there's these plumes of like black and white and gray kind of smoke coming from the ground itself. As you are traversing into this area, it has gotten a lot colder. You all are also noticing it's getting a little bit, it takes more effort to breathe, to bring in the oxygen as you are rising with the words just disappeared for a second, with the altitude. But you do see ahead of you, at this point probably early afternoon, you can see the peak of the mountain ahead of you, but you can also see what it looks like, this massive wall of rock that seems to be almost blocking your way completely forward. You can see that along the sides there are these portions that seem to jut out from the rock itself, where you or others may have to kind of sidestep across to get to the next portion of this mountain.
I'm going to take the time to see if I notice people struggling and helping them.
Sure.
Because I'm the only person on the team that I'm aware of that doesn't have to breathe. Unless, like, the not being able to breathe is a magical thing. But I don't require oxygen. I do require tune-ups.
That's how.
Yeah, that's the tune-up.
Blackstone, why are you making that noise?
He's in overdrive.
I pull out some oil.
This is what I sound like after a night at the club.
Happy Pride, everybody.
Happy Pride.
I think I have a little bit of an idea. I need you to ride with me a little bit on this one. Is it starting to get foggy and or cloudy along our way? Are we like fighting through any mists or any shit like that? I just want to make sure.
Not right now, no.
Cool.
You can see that where you're at, you're almost like, if you keep climbing, you're actually going to be above the cloud line. So as of right now, no. There's no fog, there's no
So are
mist.
we're literally like
Oh yeah, you are
climbing.
You're not necessarily climbing right now. You've been at a steady incline.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
what I was making sure.
It's not a
We're still
sheer
hi-
mountain.
We're still hiking. We're
Yeah,
hiking.
Yeah.
You're hiking with a bit of difficulty now that it's definitely turned into going back a few weeks. You all kind of were hypothesizing that this could be a volcano of some sort. And you can definitely tell that the rocks, like Toby, I would allow with your passive perception and stuff, the rocks you're walking on are old volcanic rocks that have over time solidified and obviously are not going to explode right now. So yeah, you're hiking for sure, but it's a difficult hike because you are having to adjust very quickly because the rocks do shift and move.
Okay. Can I make a case for using one of my abilities called Born Leader? And just to explain what this does, my competency and commanding personality lend to a knack for leadership. Common folk defer to my authority and influence, especially in times of crisis. I know the group isn't common folk. However, my goal here is to distract them with stories of like the stuff that I've done at sea to get people's mind off of the fact that we're struggling to go up the mountain, and just try to like keep a steady pace and lead them using this ability. There is a role, it's basically a persuasion check to sort of get people to follow you.
Yeah.
Guidance.
I will allow it.
Considering my affliction right now, will this work on me?
It will work on you.
Okay.
So that is going to be, I need a D4 too. Oh, fuck.
I am gonna
26.
A D6. Okay. I am going to flavor it with you, though, Theodore, because
Yeah,
you do bring up
26.
an excellent point. It will work on you, but it's more of that effect of, okay, distracting, which is great. I'm going to move even quicker because I need to get the hell away from this person who keeps talking, kind of thing. So that's the way I'm going to flavor that, if that's okay with
Okay.
you. If you want to
Yeah.
flavor it another way, I will totally allow that. But I kind of like that kind of flavor, so you still get the effect.
No, that's really funny. And also how I be in real life. Sometimes I'm like, oh my god, this motherfucker's been talking to me. For
And
too
Raven is
long.
just
I have to
like,
go.
so, we had a real big struggle that one time we were fighting that sea serpent. Oh my God, that thing was so large and it really just wrecked the whole side of our ship. And, some of the crew was just losing faith. And Cribble and I were doing our best to just keep their focus because we had to fight the sea serpent and there was a good payday coming out of it. And I was like, you could get armor out of this. We could get some money out of this. And Captain is just...
Did you happen to fare better with that particular sea serpent?
Damn.
Yes, this was the last one fought because the first one fought. I had to get a new ship, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, and like Deodora's internal monologue is like, okay, just go inside yourself, Deodora. Don't listen to this. Just try to tune this out. Oh my god, let me just walk faster. He's been talking for 20 fucking minutes.
Listen, Cribble
Nonstop.
joins you because Cribble is still rocking that level of exhaustion. It just is like, Theodora, can I come with you? Because I've heard this story at least 4,000 times.
Yeah, Cribble can absolutely hop on. He can ride on Sparky.
Toby is like listening to a very, very interesting podcast. So it's like,
Blackstone, I feel is watching everybody doing things and also taking note of like language and things because there is a little bit of a memory skip as far as Blackstone is concerned. Like given the events of the last couple of days, and I'm like, I thought Theodora liked listening to stories.
I see, and meanwhile, Toby's listening to his podcast, and like every so often is like, realizes Draven's still talking, put the headphone back.
Yeah.
So Draven is the interesting podcast.
Yeah, so it's like I cast pod. No. But
I cast,
Toby's like
cast blindness, deafness on myself. I don't have that spell.
and Toby's like, But like how big was this, the giant snake?
So it was at least, let's say, 120 feet long.
It was a creature with 120 feet.
No. It's a unit of measurement.
Oh, okay.
But like, continue, please.
Draven just keeps going on, and he's like, if I can keep them focusing on this, we can just keep going, because I need to get to Jorix.
Okay. You continue your trek up for a bit further. At this point, for another hour or so, eventually reaching that massive wall that I talked about. It's kind of, at this point, blocking the kind of ability to go to the next area of the mountain. As you're kind of reaching this precipice, because it kind of, somewhat of a trail that you're on leads up and then curves to the left against this wall. So you are going to, at this point, have to, and this wall is sheer. It goes up and down about, I would say, 100 or so feet. You will not be able to walk straight forward on it. You will have to sidestep it. It looks like, very carefully, or else you could fall very, very easily. So,
Okay.
what do you all do?
I got an idea.
If you have an idea, I'll let you go first.
No, but you go first. Hash it out. Let me hash it out.
So I mean, I have a standard, adventurer's kit here, and I got some pittance in my bag and stuff like that. So Draven's like, I'll go first. If we have to just kind of like slide across, and I'll take a rope and just kind of give something for us to anchor ourselves on. Just pink. Keep it moving.
Okay. Can you please roll we'll say, either
Athletics.
Yeah, I'll allow it.
That is a 28.
28.
Rolled a 19, so.
Yeah, no problem. You have to be kind of, it's not a straightforward path that goes across the whole part of this wall. You are having to step up in sections and step down in sections, so you are having to, like, very carefully. But eventually, yeah, you are able to get to the other side with the rope that you have.
And Draven's like, please use the grips. They're there for a reason. They should be stable.
Well, Toby's canonically strapped in a Bjorn, and I think he's fine.
Or just kind
we
of
established
flitters right
that.
across.
Yeah.
And I think Sparky with Cribble on his back kind of just blinks forward until he meets up with Draven on the other side of this. So that way.
Okay, I got an idea. And
How far across is this?
Hang on 1 second, Sin. Robo, what is your idea? Because I know you were hatching it, so I want to grab it while you have it in your head, and then Sin, I will answer your question.
I just remember I am a druid, so I just remember that I can do druid shit.
Yes, you can.
So Toby gets out of the Bjorn, and I say, Aurea, I always wanted to try this, and thanks to you, I feel inspired to do so. And starts, and sprouts to giant, yeah, right here, I am shitting. I just wanted to take a giant poop. No. He sprouts 2 giant wings and gives like a backflip. And as he turns, it's like an Animorph sequence.
Okay.
And
Horrifying.
he turns himself into a giant eagle.
Okay. Can you roll D100 for me, please?
Don't tell me what to do, Joe.
Wait, Toby's a grocery store?
Yes. 72.
Okay. You do feel a little bit of resistance, like the spark of nature magic that you had before isn't super strong, but you are able to overcome that kind of as you're falling. Like there's a moment of panic of, oh my god, is this going to work? But then you see the feathers overtaking your body and you do transform into a giant eagle.
And using my telepathy, I just tell everybody, hop in.
Squaw.
Squaw.
Canonically, what an eagle sounds like.
Squaw.
Famously, squaw.
The famous.
All eagles in Ampistrano say that. What do the rest of you do?
I guess I'll climb on.
Okay.
Oh, is this eagle friendly?
It's literally me, Blackstone. Telepathy.
Oh, like the thing is, I just saw like Toby like plummet a bit, and then an eagle came back. I was like, wait, this is creature friendly.
Well, I mean, if it's not, we can always just kill it and eat its body. No waste.
Please don't. I'm literally right here.
I kind of look at the eagle and go, Theodore is very good at doing a violence. And then I just climb onto the eagle, and it's kind of like, wait, Toby?
Oh shit. Yes, I am Toby. I just looked at it. It can speak Orin, and I've never heard of that.
Oh, I can actually understand Orin, so that works.
That makes one of us. That's air people shit.
Yeah, it's a
Squaw.
primordial as a language.
So they're both speaking in Orin, and they're like, squaw, squaw, squaw. All right. And as everybody gets up, we just fly over. I just tell everybody, like, hold on to me. But please don't pull any feathers.
Draven's standing there with his rope, like, what the fuck?
Oh,
I
did
could have
you?
saved so much motherfucking time.
I wasn't even paying attention to when you were saying that. I was looking at
Yeah,
this.
Draven,
Sorry.
it took you like a good 30, 40, 50 minutes just to
Yeah, I was
cross.
being careful,
Yeah,
trying to
you're
make sure
being
all the
careful
pittons
as
are
fuck.
solidly in the wall because
Yeah.
other people following me and they may not be as strong.
Yeah, he crosses and then sees that they were there on the other side.
Well, see, I feel like that's such the metaphor of Tybor being like, well, in my day, we hiked to school 3 miles in the snow.
Yeah.
But here's
Uphill.
Uphill.
No shoes.
Wonderful. Yeah, Tybor, you see everybody approaching on this giant ass eagle. But eventually
I hate you, motherfuckers. That's what I've decided.
Like I know that Draven is still on the wall watching the eagle go by. Like,
Watching the eagle go by and then watching this blink dog just blink past him.
Yep.
No. It's just like, you motherfuckers.
today in acronyms.
I know you
but
fucking
you all
lying.
to get across. I'm assuming time. Looking pretty annoyed, but hey, you're on the other side of this massive wall. And you can see that the path again kind of curves this time to the right and has more of the slanted incline you all are on is much steeper. The rocks are a lot smaller in their positioning, so it's almost like gravel giving away as you're kind of walking every now and then. Up ahead, as you continue, and as at this point, late afternoon, early evening is starting to kind of settle in, you can see that there is what appears to be a small cave off to the left of the path that you're currently on. You can see that there is a little bit of steam kind of slowly rising out of it. Not in giant plumes, but for those of you that were keeping watch, it looked almost like mist coming out of it. But kind of seeing the layout of this area, and the fact that several of these kind of plumes of smoke are kind of rising every so often. It seems to be almost beckoning you to either take that path, or you can continue up the pathway higher up into the mountain, in which case probably the next day or two, if you continue going this way, you will be facing snow and ice. So what do y'all do?
Squaw points at the cave.
How are
Bothered
you
by no snow and
pointing?
ice. Yeah, like how does that
With
work?
my wing. It's like
You're walking around on the ground instead of flying. You just think of
Yeah.
eagles.
we stopped to get to you. So like we were in front of you, and I just do the eagle thing.
Are you about
with
to
my wing.
preen? Like Draven's like I don't know what. Can somebody translate for me?
He wants to go that way.
Is that the right way?
Which way would be the right way?
I don't know.
Can I look at the map that I copied in Felk of this area to see like, because I think I had like mapped out a route on there, like that we thought would be like, the right or like,
Correct. Yeah. Question for you. Do you think Deodora would have planned for multiple routes to get to where you need to go, or would just be going for the quickest, most sure way?
I think that she would have mapped out each viable route.
Okay.
And then maybe like put a star or some kind of symbol next to the one that like seemed like the safest.
Sure.
And with the understanding that like obviously you don't know what's safe until you actually see the terrain for what it is, but like she would have marked out like the one that she would have like she thought would be the best for them to travel, but then also had like alternate routes as well just in case.
Sure. So kind of pulling up the map of this mountain, you had essentially then 3 paths marked. One was for the mines, which I would say is probably lower tier, in terms of safety. It not being the most tried and true, mines have a history of collapsing, things like that. The cave that you are seeing off to the left seems to be your plan A. And then there is a plan B, which is further up in the icy region of the mountain itself.
Cave seems like the best route. But if you want to find a different route, we'll have to keep going up.
Okay. Is insight a wisdom thing, right? It is, right?
It is.
Do I have the same thing? Yeah, I have the same thing. Okay. I just fly over to whatever Deodora just said to us.
Okay.
The cave that's right there.
Yeah, the cave to the left of this kind of, it's not a clear-cut path. It's not like a lot of people have taken this kind of space. Although you can see, especially now that the rocks are more gravel, long ago, either footprints or cart prints for those that have been able to get a cart up this far, pathways. But Toby, you would also see too, there are massive areas where either rock slides or the kind of ice fells from up above have kind of avalanche down into this area too, as you are seeing at least kind of the hints and whispers of presence of ice, literally that either hasn't melted or these glaciers that are constantly kind of moving on the mountain itself. But the cave that you were finding, you are going to have to duck. It's a little bit smaller than a giant eagle. in order to get in. You do see these kind of plumes of either smoke or something from inside the mountain kind of slowly pluming out slightly. But there is a cold breeze as you approach this mouth of the cave itself. And
I
it's
go even further.
pitch black, dark.
Are you gonna unwild shape?
Yeah, you might get stuck in your
You're gonna
eagle
get-
form.
As soon as I get stuck, it's just
Just Winnie the Poohing it, just fucking stuck in this goddamn
and,
tunnel.
and reverse back to Toby.
Okay.
And we're not doing that.
No. Okay.
I realize that I'm resistant to cold, but no one else is. It sucks to be them.
I mean, including your buddy Cribble, I assume.
I know. Sucks to be them.
Amazing.
Well, Toby's a wildfire druid. We'll be fine.
Yeah. I do produce flame,
Okay.
and I summon Belita.
Belita's been
Belita's
with you
live-
this entire time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Okay.
just some produce flame, and I'll make it a little brighter, and I keep in the middle of everybody to just give them a little bit of warmth.
Okay. Wonderful. You can see that the cave itself, you are kind of, all of you that are taller than Toby are kind of having to hunch a little bit. Just ever so slightly. And it is a wide kind of cave in itself. So you all could walk in a line if you wanted to. But I'm assuming that's not the order of things. Toby, I'm assuming you're in the front. What's the order of operations for all of you as you were moving?
Wait, we're going into the
Or are
cave?
you going in?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought that was the idea. I'm like, no, this seems too small, too dark, and too dangerous. If we get into a fight, and Draven will say this, like, we'll be fucked. I don't know how to better put it. Like, and if there's any chance of cave-ins or anything like that, we'll all die. I'd rather risk it outside.
I don't feel like that's necessarily accurate, but it is a very interesting and poignant tactical point.
The other route available to us is that also, like you said, it's up from this. We have to keep climbing up. Is it also another cave system, or like?
Yes, it is another cave system. It's just further up in the kind of ice falls and icy reach of the mountain itself.
Can I ask a
So-
very important question?
Yes.
No, this is like Blackstone to the party.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Fair. What were you saying first before we switch back?
No, it was Diodora saying. So
Okay.
we can either go into a cave here, or we can climb up and go into a cave there. It's going to be a
And-
cave either way. Also, if I recall correctly, you desperately wanted to go into the mines before, which also had
Mines?
the same risks.
Well, mines are usually carved out by people. So they give room and
Yes.
spaces for people. Caves are usually naturally forming within the environment. Thus,
Yeah.
it may not have the amount of space for people because it wasn't made for people.
But we also didn't know if the mine at this point would have had a room for people, since it hadn't been used for like hundreds of years.
Well, barring a severe earthquake, it was a tactical decision. This one seems more dangerous for us. If we have to walk single file, I don't necessarily think that's the best of ideas. But if y'all are insistent on going into a cave that's dark and cramped and potentially dangerous, you know what? We all have to die somehow.
Well, I am probably more concerned that Toby will certainly meet some unfortunate situation if one of us at least does not go with him. And I feel like perhaps I should.
I only have a rope around Toby's foot, holding him back from climbing in further. Like, no,
It's like a toddler getting away from.
like lassoed him. Yeah, Toby always has a leash on him at all times. And it's like a harness, so he can't unhook it.
Also, as probably a more important thing, if we have to continue climbing, I've noticed that efforts seem maybe just a little bit more labored than usual. Are you all going to be okay to continue climbing if we do need to continue climbing?
I'm
What
fine.
was that?
No, nothing.
Because you saw a cat?
No.
Yeah,
of
that's
something.
all. That's all. Draven says is I'm fine.
You see Theodora looks frustrated because she doesn't think Draven's right about the cave or the mines. Like, it's a danger regardless. The same dangers present itself like in her head, and so she's like, and we've already climbed all this way up, so what are we supposed, like, she's like, so what do you expect us to do, just climb back down?
No, I'm not saying that we should go back into the mines. I'm saying this cave isn't the only way up.
Yeah, there's another cave up there, is what
Up
I'm
there,
saying.
we can try and see what that other cave looks like as well. It may not present the same challenges.
Like me to potentially scout this one? It is a thing that I am built for.
If you feel up to it, yes. I don't see any reason why not.
Okay, well, then I will take a moment to see what is in. Jordan, how large did you say the cave was?
Not large. You're having to kind of bend over slightly. Toby can walk pretty comfortably every now and then, kind of having to duck every so often, but you are definitely like crouched over.
Oh,
very
okay.
Similar to when you've walked through either gnome or kind of hobbit home or halfling homes rather. Kind of having to duck a little bit.
So, what I will do then is make a, like, kind of get an idea of what the size of the cave is, and then create a miniature black stone made out of multicolored lights and walk them into the cave.
Disco Blackstone.
Okay.
I will walk them in I will just like kind of observe them walking in about 50 to 60 feet and see what there is to see in there.
Okay. It seems like the cave kind of rounds a bend into the mountain itself. It gets a little bit smaller, but doesn't seem to. Nothing else seems to be in here. It turns into a tunnel kind of going further into the mountain.
But the tunnel gets smaller as it goes.
A little bit. And then it seems to level out. There is like a section where it looks like you might have to kind of crawl through to the other side, but that's about it. And then it kind of widens up a little bit.
Okay. Sometime later, the little miniature Blackstone walks out of the cave and turns into just 4 balls of colored light that just float around Blackstone for a bit, and they explain. So, in the cave, it seems that there aren't any immediate dangers or obstacles, aside from, of course, our various sizes and equipment that we might have to carry through, which the cave narrows or shortens in height, and we may have to crawl to get through it. I am not certain if that is necessarily an optimal situation for you, but that is something that we can do, and it doesn't seem to present any apparent dangers, at least for the first 120 feet in or so. Also, considering the things that you're going to have to navigate in order to get through this next cave, would you like me to go and look at this one?
Yeah, I'll accompany.
I'm sure Tideborn said a thing. I did not hear the thing
Yes.
that Tideborn said.
That was
okay.
all the Draven said.
Also, is everyone okay?
I am. Why, you ask?
Draven just says, I need to get to Jorix. This is taking too long. And I apologize if I seem a little bit short, but my daughter is there and she's in danger. And all of this seems borderline superfluous in comparison.
There is a, like, it would be, if this were an anime, there would be a zoomed out moment of just Blackstone and Tideborn looking at each other and like the sound of the wind in the background. How close are we to the objective? Do we know?
I'll take a look at the map to see if it can like maybe give some insight on how long it'll take to get to where we're trying to go.
It depends on how quickly all of you are moving and how much of the interior of this kind of pathway that you've mapped out has either stayed the same or shifted across the years. It looks like possibly if everything lines up quickly, you could probably get there in about 2 days. If things have shifted, it could take longer.
Okay. I think Theodora will, not answering Blackstone's initial question of is everybody all right, we'll just say it depends. Best case scenario, it'll take us a couple days.
Captain, do we have a couple of days? Or is it important to you to be in Jorix at this moment in time?
The captain just goes to the fence. It's too late to turn around now. So let's do what we need to.
I see. There is a lot of side-eyeing. If Blackstone were able to do that with their facial features. And then I think for Toby, because Toby asked the question earlier.
Did I?
Hold on. Can I find it? Here it is. Toby. I'm not certain of how to express this properly, but we have been on a rather long journey and have dealt with mortal danger recently. I have rarely, if ever, seen either of these two in the mood that they are in now. And the last time that someone was in a mood that I felt was uncharacteristic to them, it turned out to have a magical influence of some kind.
The back.
I might suggest that we keep an eye on our friends, and if we notice any further things that are unusual about them, that we do so. It reminds me of you being a, well, less Toby than usual.
I know exactly what you mean.
So,
And I say that out loud.
it is always good to have an understanding. And then I try to make my way up to the other, to the next cave. How far away is that cave from where we are? In a straight line.
Okay.
So that's a question to the DM.
Yes, I know. Can you repeat the question? I apologize.
From where we are to the next cave up, how far is that in a straight line?
In a straight line, you're not going to be able to necessarily go in a straight line. But if you continue in the path that you're on, you could probably get there in about a day and a half. Roughly about the same amount of time if you were to take this cave to get to the eventual point. It's within that range that Deodora kind of gave you of either you could press forward through this cave and you might potentially get to the goal, or you can try and use that same amount of time, go up higher, and then go through there. It's going to roughly take about the same amount of time.
Okay, so there's a cave further up on the map, but it's not necessarily. Is it visible to us from here?
No, that's the thing.
No, you have to climb up the mountain
Yeah.
to get to it.
That's why I was like, you're not going to be able to go straight line up, and you don't know exactly its placement on the mountain, especially since, why don't you roll a history or nature check for me, please?
History or nature? Oh, well, this dice just said gay rights because I got the symbol, so I think that's a nat 20 right there.
There we go.
Yes.
We love it.
On nature or history,
Yes.
you know something? I'm gonna use nature for this. Both, also the modifiers for both of those are the same for me.
You would know based off of what you kind of gathered climbing this mountain for the last, at this point, almost 2 days, making really good time. Sorry, Tipple's just coming back into threw me off.
Just popped up like a Jack in the Box.
Sprouting up like a flower. You would know that, especially mountains, once you get into the area that you're in and above, where it's glacial and snow, those are areas that are prone to avalanches, to shifting ice falls, to things moving around, to pathways being cluttered, a number of different things. So it is possible you might have even more difficulty because you're going to have to move slower when you're up above, at this point, moving up above the clouds into these icy kind of areas. You're also not only going to be battling, the possible pathway and avalanches and such, you're going to be battling cold, and as well as that the oxygen getting a little bit more difficult for those that actually do need to breathe. They'll still be able to, but it is at a greater difficulty. The survival rates for kind of being in those areas of the mountains dwindle the longer you are up there. So, not to mention whatever other monsters or things might be in this region. So, you're kind of choosing between a rock and a hard place either way.
Well, on the one hand, we absolutely could head further up. It will take a couple of days. I am concerned for everybody's well-being because all of you have a need to breathe. Additionally, weather conditions further up the mountain may include additional cold, inclement weather, and avalanches. So, I am going to make a minor proposal, and I am going to hope that it works. DM, I am going to send you a message.
Okay.
Well, actually, I'm not going to send you a message because
Okay.
you normally let me just do nonsense and shenanigans. I'm going to do nonsense and shenanigans.
Okay.
This mountain, right? It's not made of like magic material. It's stone, but like unnatural.
Stone, volcanic rock. It's a mixture of different things, very much like what you were finding in the town of Vania when you were moving around. All of the components of what you were finding in those clips are present on this mountain, both, at least from what you can tell, outwardly and presumably inwardly, because a lot of these rocks were at one point on the inside of the mountain.
Okay, so these are just massive rocks. Is there a lot of dirt here, or is it purely rocks from like top to bottom?
Very minimal dirt. It is like, I want to say 99.9% rock. There's no vegetation. You're far above the tree line. You're literally, especially above this kind of wall and looking down from this cavern. You can see the tree line. You can see the town of Vania off to your left in its entirety, and how you just explored a small portion of it. if you would continue further, there's what appears to be some kind of gates into the much larger town of Vania itself, easily spotting anywhere from 30 to 40 different buildings, all in various states of disarray. Some of them still kind of either having smoke rising from the center of the town itself, to, the kind of shadows kind of creeping in as you are at this point, very late afternoon, early evening. You can barely see from your vantage point the sun trying its hardest to fight against the onslaught of clouds as well. You have a really good aerial view of the area. You see off to your right, where you had taken the path up here in the first place, where the lake was, and able to see kind of pinpoint where you had stayed on your first night in the shadow of this mountain. At this point, you can still, it's very, very faint. Honestly, it's just a small glimmer of light every so often, of what appears the very top of the temple, kind of gleaming out of the water. You can see in distance even further, the land surrounding Vania and this mountain. You can see the river, the Varnith River, still flowing, almost like a black tendril, cutting through the kind of darkened and gray areas that you're currently in.
Okay. Well, I think all of our options considered, I am going to start exploring this one. If I find it is impossible after a certain point for all of us to get through here, then we will explore onward. But aside from the difficulty of having to climb through this particular cave, if worse comes to worse, if in our best case scenario, it saves us 2 days worth of time, which I understand is time that we would like to avoid spending more than if possible. So I will lead because of scouting capabilities. And at least if something happens to me, it is less likely to be harmful than if it happens to someone else. And then I started trying to climb my way through the cave.
Okay.
Be careful, Blackstone.
Toby remembers that Blackstone said that it's not characteristic of them to be like this. So Toby remembers that how he was feeling the day that had the bag with the wings that were corrupted. It was corrupting him, and he felt like shit, but he couldn't explain why or how is it that possible. So he turns to Theodora and just, he looks up to Theodora. How are you feeling, Theodora?
In this moment or in general?
In general. Both, actually.
In general? She's kind of looks at Toby for a moment, like she's and I'm not gonna roll for this, but doing an insight check to kind of gauge his intentions and asking, and then just says, I'm just ready to get up there. As for how I'm feeling now, it just feels like we're wasting a lot of time.
And it clicks. And Toby says, do you trust me, Theodora? And he extends his hand to her.
Let me just check one thing. I'm so sorry. I just need to make sure I remember the language of this. Shit. That Jordan's making me roleplay.
Advising strongly. It is up to you how you interpret it.
Advising strongly. Yeah.
I am not telling you how to play your character.
No. I know you're not telling me how to play my character, but I'm talking about this condition.
Yes.
Toby asks if Theodora trusts them, and I'm just gonna say it because I feel like Toby. We've traveled together long enough for you to maybe be able to read some of her facial expressions. There is a slight moment where a doubt flashes over her face, and she almost says no. But then it's almost like she's like remembering the times where, like, okay, well, I trusted him in this instance, and I trusted him in this instance, and like he turned into an eagle and he carried us over to this location. So I think just in terms of just logically, yes, I can trust Toby. I don't think he's gonna hurt me. And then it's also like, but also if he tries something, I think I can maybe just pick him up and throw him off the mountain. And she will reach out and let Toby take her hand.
And like Toby puts his hand like under her hand, and with this other hand he has one of the diamonds that his brother gave them, and creates like a tiny version of Bolita, and like over Theodora's hand, and it's flaming and it's dancing and it's doing a black backflip, but it's actually just sitting down, not actually doing the backflip, but
I'm obsessed.
and then it just looks at you and like does the when the dog just looks at you,
yeah,
like,
and then
yeah. And it slowly
Theodora does the same thing.
it slowly disappears and it goes to your body, and it spreads like this warm feeling, like you're drinking your favorite beverage, hot beverage or warm beverage, and it travels all over your body. And I cast Greater Restoration, and I know I'm doing something out of my. I haven't tried, so he's gonna give 10 spirit points, so it kind of does it a more.
Okay.
So it's more potent.
Can you go ahead and cast a D100 for me, please?
I cast summon D100.
Summon Diva.
I realized I said it. I'm like,
I was like, casted a
I'm
D100
committed.
is a new spell.
I'm
I heard that one
I
before.
realized when I said it, like, literally as soon as I finished, I'm like, nope, we're going to stick with it. And maybe, nope, of course they're going to call me out on it.
Yeah.
Of course we're gonna call you out on it. Who do you think you are? 97.
97. Okay. What does it look like as you're casting Great Restoration? As it's settling on Theodora.
It kind of looks like it gives like this red glow to Theodora, like she's kind of on fire, but it's not hurting her.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like this warm energy that surrounds her. And then it turns teal and matches Toby's aura.
As that happens, two things occur. Theodora, you can feel the flame warming you. You have been warm in a couple of days now. And as the flames are settling in on you, you can feel something deep within you, almost roiling against the flames, trying to latch on and stay. But then feel a wash of Toby's spirit, and it seems to go away. Toby, for you, amidst the flames that kind of engulf Theodora, you can see what almost looks like in the very center portion of her, spiraling up into her neck and her hairline, these tendrils of darkened teal, a different teal from yours. It has gray. There's little bits of white, almost looking like veins, moving through her neck into her chest where her heart is. And it seems to like pulse, almost trying to hang on But as your spirit magic kind of eases over, washing over Deodora with this light, you can see that it slowly almost burns away. Deodora, you feel lighter. You still have a desire to get to wherever you're going at this point, but it's not as obsession-based. You can mark off that level of corruption.
I think as this corruption dissipates, burning away in this fire, Deodora she won't say anything, but she does pull Toby in for a hug. Thank you. I think you're muted, maybe, if you're talking.
God damn it!
Toby's speechless from everything.
Speechless. Toby just said, when he hugs Deodora, he just says, I got you. I'll always have you.
I'm sorry.
For what?
For letting it get to me. And for not trusting you.
It's not your fault. None of this is anybody's fault. Come on. Let's go.
Right, but okay, yeah. I think Deodora will kind of just sort of hold Toby's hand for a bit.
Sure. I'm feeling a bit restored, and as Blackstone ventures into the cave for some exploration, I think this is an excellent time to take our break for today. So we'll be back in a few minutes. Make sure to get up, stretch, move around. Again, reminder, we are raising money for the Karam family. You can enter !KARAM for some more information, as well as their GoFundMe link, as well as some additional information. Robo, I realized you had sent me, and I'm going to add as well, about other organizations you can help that are assisting in Sudan, the Congo, etc. So I will be adding that to Nightbot during the break as well. Yeah, we will be back shortly, y'all. Thank you so much, and we'll see you all in a little bit. Bye.
Pick up your gear and open your chests. Throw on your armor and head out on a quest. Hey, hey. It's a brand new day. On the slow coast, your allies will help with blades and bows and magic as well. Hey, hey. Heroes on their way. Fighting together against overwhelming odds. Fighting together in favor of multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms. Idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, get your wall and there. Idle champions, you will say it again. Idle champions.
Welcome back, everybody.
Gappamus.
Hope we were able to get up, stretch, move around, get some snacks, all that jazz. And we're going to get back into it. Again, just a reminder about our content warnings, actually. as we are now kind of heading into some caves. Our content warnings for today's episodes are deep and dark bodies of water, heightened levels of stress, descriptions of injured and slain individuals, existential crises, complex and complicated relationships, caves, and kind of tight spaces, but we're not going to go into claustrophobia areas at all. So just as a heads up to everybody, because we want you to be safe. So if you need to step away, please do. You and your safety do matter. But we are going to pick up right into it. So the group had some fun figuring out different ways to circumvent a wall portion of the mountain, with Tyborn choosing to take the tried and true method of just sidestepping across with some rope. And you know what, Prince, I'm going to allow you to take a point of inspiration for that. You worked for that. So I'll give you that. Whereas Toby decided that flying would be the best course of action and turned into a giant eagle and brought the rest of the group across.
That was Robo setting me up. That's all that
Really
was. That was just Robo setting me up. It's like, oh, you doing that? You go first. You go first. I remember that.
And the group made their way into the upper region of this kind of alpine desert that they're in. They're above the tree line and seeing all of Vania and the area that they've kind of been in the last few days spread out before them. The party had some discussions and disagreements about which path to take, whether they should try and take this cave or if they should perhaps try and trek further up the mountain and see if they can find another way, another cave that might be a little bit larger or a little bit more stable. But ultimately they decided that it'd be best to try this one. Toby also noticed after having a conversation with Blackstone that Deodora was kind of butting heads with Tyborn a bit and was able to pinpoint that this place has been slowly corrupting. And Deodora had fallen to that corruption and using a greater restoration was able to take that corruption off. And that is where we pick up as Blackstone. I believe you are venturing into the cave. Is anyone else going with at this time?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Deodora will go with Blackstone.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
All right. And then Tyborn and Cribble leading the charge behind.
Yeah. I mean, this is a scouting part, right? We weren't planning to go all the way up in this bitch. At least that's what that's what was told. So
yeah. So
I'm chilling.
Anyone that wishes to scout can scout. Sim laughs evilly.
You thought.
Tideboard standing out of the mountain by himself.
Yeah.
he got Cribble with him.
Yeah, and Cribble's still on Sparky, so
we got Cribble and Sparky. Yeah, we chilling.
Okay, so you got a small group outside. Okay. So
I'll start a fire for them just so they have somewhere to stay.
Sure. You'll start. Are you going to do that right in the mouth of the cave, or are you going to move a little bit?
Just outside, because I don't want smoke to go into the cave.
Sure. Okay. Cool. Okay. We will pan to the scouting party first. So Blackstone, very similarly to when you had those kind of, as Robo affectionately called it, the disco ball Blackstone moving through before, was able to see a little bit further into the cave, the sides. There is a steady drip of water every so often that kind of echoes through the cave itself. It is a little bit colder, but every so often there is a breeze, almost like a breath coming out of this cavern of air. Not molten hot, but just there is a little bit of a heat to it. You can see that the cave itself does curve to the right, and then, as mentioned before, seems to shorten, so you would have to crouch a little bit further, and then it elongates again, allowing for still kind of being hunched over, but not as much as you were before. If you want to roll perception and or stealth as you are moving
Guidance.
through.
I would also, like, while we're crawling through the cave, can I use my, I would like to use my detect thoughts feature just as a way to scan for sentient life forms that might be ahead of me.
Nice.
I'm going to say you don't even have to, because
Okay.
nothing comes back to you.
There's not a sound, not a peep, nothing
Nothing.
in here. Okay. And you said you wanted me to make a roll for.
Hear Toby singing to himself in his head.
Yeah. You can either do stealth if you're moving forward quietly, and
Okay.
or perception if you're checking for things.
Is it
Okay.
only Sin rolling this?
It's whoever is part of this scouting party.
Okay, you said perception.
Okay, and I get guidance. How much is guidance? Is that a
It's a
D4,
D4.
It's a
D6?
D4.
Yep.
I'm gonna guidance myself.
Okay. So I think with these numbers, I'm going to go with stealth.
Okay.
And that comes to a grand total of 19.
19.
Theodora got a 22 for perception.
Okay. And Toby, are you coming with the scouting party, or did you stay out with Draven?
Yeah, he he kind of feels like a little bit tired after the Great Restoration.
Yeah,
because
it
that
did
took
take
a lot
some
of him.
energy out of you, yeah.
So he just runs back. "Oh, wait, I got this. And I cast Pass Without Trace.
Okay. So you can go ahead and add, I think it's a plus 10, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Love it.
Yeah, I am the wind.
Yep.
She's
the-
like the wind.
Kind of treading lightly across the cavern floor. It is also rocky. It is not flat by any means. Every so often there is a jutting rock that you're kind of having to sidestep slightly to move around and able to move forward. There's no other sound in this area, minus the steady dripping of water every so often. And again, that kind of, you still see above you kind of the smoke moving through the cavern, moving outwards towards where Draven is kind of currently sitting. There's no other sound, no other presence, nothing.
And like the cave continues to be this kind of compressed thing that you have to like punch through.
Yeah, you're kind of having to almost do like a dance through with having it very carefully shift around. And again, the floor itself isn't even. There's rocks in random places, so you're having to shift your weight slightly. It's very reminiscent of perhaps when you were traipsing across the rooftops in Jorix or in other areas where the tiles are kind of shifting slightly. So it's not an unfamiliar feeling to you, although it has been a very long time since you've had to kind of do this. But you are able to traipse forward, kind of crouching forward. You do see that the cavern just seems to, again, push into a tunnel further into the cave, depending on how far back you want to go.
Well, I'm going to send some dancing lights ahead of me, but I want to like continue going as far as possible until either A, we determine that there's a dead end here, or like there's a point that no one could reasonably progress through, or until it opens up some.
Sure. Okay.
Now, that being said, is this one of those? This is like mostly a DM question. Like from what I can see here, is this one of those things that goes on far enough that I'm like, I should probably go back and get Tideborn
Yeah.
before we continue?
Yep.
Okay.
You can very easily, I would say, just as you're about to cast Dancing Light, that thought kind of crosses your head a bit, because you can see that it's winding further back. You can tell that the temperatures are shifting again. The smoke
Is it getting warmer in here?
every so often. Again, it's almost like an exhale, and with that, there's more of that smoke that kind of pushes through. it's above your heads. You're not in danger of breathing it in right now. It's well above your heads. But yeah, that's kind of where you're kind of at. Every now and then it gets cold, then it gets warm-ish, but not blazing hot.
I feel like at this point, it might be best for us to turn around and go and get the captain. It seems that there is not only a lack of danger here, but also a lack of living creatures. And unfortunately, given the construction of this place, it's going to be difficult to alter the shape of it.
Lack of living creatures doesn't mean there aren't creatures.
There is also no sign of sentience of any kind. There is not a single moving thing. There is no sound in here.
I still think it's worth being on our guard. We've seen strange things on our journey.
Well, I would certainly not disagree with you on this point. However, I will say the extent of this cave, if we continue, may take us the better part of, well, a day. And I do believe, at the minimum, it was going to take that long and then a little bit more for us to make it to the next cave. If we're going to continue exploring in this direction, which I think it would be wise to do, given the lack of danger so far, we should probably go and get the captain. Possibly also Cribble. And if I understand correctly, you do miss your dog.
I do. I think, Deodora will like turn, cause I believe she's like behind Blackstone, so she'll like maneuver to turn around and then head back out of the tunnel.
Can I have a moment here?
Yeah, Tyborn.
You can have several.
Yeah, we're gonna pan as they are slowly turning back around. We're gonna pan the camera over to Tyborn, one of you. And Gribble.
What's your Blake dog's name? Because my brain.
Sparky.
Sparky. Barky or Sparky?
Sparky.
Sparky.
Okay, that's what just make sure. So Draven's out here with Sparky and Cribble, and he sees Cribble is struggling right now with this level of exhaustion, what have you, and he's like, Sparky, I think I'm messing up. I understand that that they have a mission, and I'm messing it all up. I didn't know it was going to be a part of this. I thought I was just, helping the kids out, and I got wrapped up in some world changing stuff, and maybe I don't belong here. Maybe they don't need somebody like me. I don't. And you just see Draven just punch the ground, and just stone and snow flies up. He's like, I need to get to my daughter. And that's the only thing that matters to me right now. But I feel so guilty because it might, if I could help save the world, then isn't that the most selfish thing in the world? Am I a selfish person for giving a shit now when I should have gave a shit before?
Sparky's just
no, he's just talking to the dog.
He's just like Sparky's Sparky's very intuitive and like very understanding of emotions. So like I do think he like sense like your confusion, frustration, upset, and sort of just like does that thing that dogs do where it's like they sit next to like your legs and then lean against you to like comfort you, and I think he'll do that.
Cribble's just wrapped up in a blanket. When Tyborn punches the ground, Cribble just rolls over. And just,
oh my god,
goes back to sleep, just not even like still dealing with this level of exhaustion, trying to shake it off. He's like, I shouldn't be this angry. Maybe it's this place doing it to me. I don't know. You can only take so many losses, right?
Sparky licks your hand. The one that you punched the ground with.
Thanks, buddy. Sorry to be spilling all my feelings to you. That's I don't know who else to talk about this to. You know?
That
you
sounds-
just
Isn't Toby
pet
also
Sparky.
still out there with
No,
you?
Toby's with y'all.
No, I'm with you.
y'all.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And he just pats Sparky and then just kind of like sits there for a little while, just in silence.
As you're kind of sitting in the silence, on this side of this mountain, again, the spread of Vania before you, and the cavern behind you right now, or to the side, depending on where Draven's kind of set up this kind of temporary camp. You've always been one to be able to chart your next course, your next path. And now you're in this area that is out of your depth, literally and figuratively. It's in an area that you are not as familiar with. What other kind of thoughts, obviously you mentioned your daughter, but what other thoughts are kind of entering into your head? Or any memories surfacing at this time as you're kind of looking
him with
around
all
you?
3 of his kids, like going to like a fair and like getting like cotton candy, just regular ass domestic shit. Like him organizing his bookshelf and all of his little knickknacks that he's picked up over time out of the sea as a captain. Some of the commendations he's gotten on the shelf back home for his accomplishments as a soldier. That sort of thing. It's just memories of like family life where stuff was simpler, essentially.
Sure. I think as you've kind of punched this stone and maybe a bit of water kind of trickles from either a jug, or if you're warming some water up just to, make sure everything's good to go, you for a moment see yourself in your reflection in those droplets of water. And don't necessarily recognize yourself. It's still the same you, looking tired, frustrated, but different. Of who is this person? You thought you knew who you were. You thought you knew everything. You did everything by the book, relatively, in your own sense of style. But time is moving forward, and the path that you thought you were on has shifted massively. And you're on this precipice of who you are and who you thought you were. And having to look at that, or get a glimpse of that for the first time probably in the last couple weeks. And the moment kind of transforms to the vision you had a few nights ago. You in that ocean, unsure of what to do, trying to save this merchant, unable to, and having to choose between saving them or saving your ship, saving others or saving yourself. And all the while, the words of selfish, selfish, selfish echoes in your head as that happens. But then you hear very faintly, like the crashing of waves, that voice you heard in the vision, that sea dragon that had come to your aid. And the words kind of play through again. Stay the course. And what will you do when one of you is drowning? on the mountain.
He has tears running down his face, and he whispers, knowing Cribble's asleep, but he just goes, maybe it's time to find a new captain, buddy.
Your words kind of echo in the air at this point. You can kind of hear in the cavern the bit of noises as your three companions are moving back through the cavern, heading back to where you are. You all see Draven. I'll let you decide if you're gonna quickly hide that you were tearing up, or
Nah, he's too old for that shit. He's just
Sure.
crying, and you see the stone cracked next to him and everything. He's just stoically sitting there, letting the tears roll down his face.
You can see he set up a small camp, which is perfect because at this point evening has settled in. Darkness has kind of cleaned this portion of the mountain.
What's wrong, Captain?
Nothing you all need to worry about. I've just been kind of caught in my head a little bit. Also, I think something's wrong with Cribble. He's been sleeping a lot. He don't never shut up this long.
Maybe the same thing that was wrong with me before Toby helped.
Draven raised his eyebrows. Like, what was wrong with you? Not like, I'm genuinely asking, not like, is something wrong with you? Like,
No, I know. It's hard to
What the hell's
explain.
wrong with you?
What the fuck is wrong with you?
The
bitch?
fuck?
No, it's hard to explain. I just suddenly felt so obsessed and frustrated with all of you for holding me back. And I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it. All of you, I'm never trying to hold y'all back from anything. I think.
Was an unfounded frustration.
Do you mean like
No,
something magical, or?
Sort of.
it felt like something had taken me over outside of my control. I'm not actually frustrated with any of you. And I don't think any of you are holding me back. We traveled together because we pushed each other forward.
Oh, so the short of it is, this place fucking sucks.
Yes.
Yeah?
You felt that you had something wrong with you. And you couldn't even know why or how.
I just knew that I had to get up here and that I couldn't fully trust most of you to help me with that. Which is not how I feel.
Yeah, I'm just really fucking tired, and I can't seem to get enough sleep, and y'all are being loud as fuck about your emotions right now.
And I just turned to Blackstone, and it's the exact same thing that happened to me, Blackstone. Except a little bit darker, if that makes sense. Like when I took it away from her, felt like I was unclenching her heart from this dark energy.
Well, I suppose a couple of things are in order. Um, well, Cribble, we might be able to help with whatever is causing you to take very long naps. However, I don't know. Maybe the rest is nice.
It would be nice if it felt actually restful, but I feel like someone tossed me into like one of those big circular wheel things, and I'm just being tossed around in it over and over again.
And, Captain, I've seen those tears before. And the last time that someone had shed them, I lost the first home I ever knew. It looks like someone who is going to make a very difficult choice and may decide at some point to leave something very important to them behind.
I don't think I'm leaving any of you behind, so maybe my tears are from somewhere else.
Maybe. But for what it's worth, we care about you too. Which reminds me, the reason that we came out here is that that cave inside is very long, and it would leave you out here for a very prohibitive amount of time for us to continue exploring it without you. So,
All right, then. Is it bigger than the other cave was?
I don't know. The other cave is a day and some change away from here according to the map. So,
Oh, wait, this is the same cave y'all went into? I thought we were... Oh, okay.
it is the same one.
My bad.
There's a little bit of crawling and wiggling about involved, but I think you're up to the challenge.
All right, then. Are we going now, or...
Oh, one more thing. Cribble. And I just kind of pick up Cribble. I mean, as far as I know, Cribble isn't like very big, right?
Cribble's like
Cribble-
a foot tall.
is a foot tall and weighs like 20 pounds.
Yeah, I just kind of like pick up Cribble and like hold them aloft in front of me.
like you're holding somebody's like toddler with the
You,
shitty
you do realize you can get poisoned. Well, I don't know if you can get poisoned. Never mind.
Oh, I'm relatively inured to such things.
Just you were saying?
Are you sure?
You're making a lot of strange noises today, Blackstone. Are you okay?
I'm also wearing gloves. It's fine. So, I suppose we should deal with whatever is causing you the weariness that you're experiencing.
That'd be great.
Okay. So, there is kind of a glowing light and a superimposed version of Blackstone reaches out to touch a kind of a superimposed, like whatever Cribble's aura would be, like the aura of touch of Blackstone reaches out to the aura of Cribble.
Yeah, it's like the Happy Swamp aura. It's like Shrek, except nicer.
Listen, I'm immune to disease. Don't do that.
I can't.
Well,
I'm trying.
yo, we're having a backstage moment back here.
I'm being out of pocket in the Zoom chat. That's
Super
my
out of
bad.
pocket.
So,
Oh, shit.
I would also like to use. Well, do I want to use a spell or do I want to use spirit points? Do I need to do both or like? Do I need to do both or one of those things?
¿Por qué no los dos?
Toby just did a spell with spirit points.
Because I know that I'm not going to be in an area to restore those spirit points, and Jordan is mean.
That is true. Jordan is mean.
I am going to also spend 10 spirit points on a restoration spell for our friend Cribble.
Okay. What kind of restoration are you using?
It is a greater restoration spell.
What does it look like as you are casting?
That is what it looks like while I'm casting.
Perfect.
It is this like big spiritual version of Blackstone that reaches out to touch a slightly larger than usual spiritual version of Cribble.
Lights kind of surround the two of you in your kind of spectral forms, wavering in the wind. You also see, for you, Blackstone, this tendril of teal and black kind of going between Cribble's eyes, around, like, almost making like a crown or a helm where it would normally be on the sides, feeding in, the veins kind of looking sickly as they kind of move downward into Cribble's chest. And the presence of you mending, if you'll allow me, what I like to imagine is as your greater restoration spell hits and your kind of spectral images connect, it's almost like you are weaving the skin and those veins back together, taking away that dark kind of ichor. So as your hands are kind of, not that you've been mending much recently, but perhaps you're making an exception. Kind of mending the skin back together. Mending the spirit back together. As you, Cribble will feel this infusement. And it does fight against you. Seems to just want to latch on, not wanting to give up its host, so to speak. But after a few moments, and you do find yourself probably sweating a little bit because you are having to essentially carefully place your spirit around Cribble's, not to extinguish it, but to add to it, and finding that balance. Using the unique abilities that you've been gaining from Felk, being able to do that, Cribble is able to take that level of exhaustion and, or rather corruption, away.
I feel like everybody around doesn't, like, if you don't see these things, what you feel is that the area within, like, nearest to Blackstone, like that little 5-foot area, just gets very warm. Just like obviously unnatural for the height of the mountain that we're at, and especially at nighttime.
Yep.
Thanks. I feel great. But you don't have to keep holding me like a child or like a puppy that you're like just getting introduced to.
I have not held children or puppies. People are uncertain if that is safe for me to do or not. But if
I
you're
think
to
you've
do
been
that, I
pretty
can do
gentle.
that, and I just like very gently place Cribble on the ground.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. That actually felt pretty good.
Hopefully it will help with your rest in the future. Also, it seems that this mountain and, well, maybe more so the creatures on it are dangerous. Thankfully, the cave over there doesn't have any of those. It's actually very eerily quiet. It gives me some cause for alarm.
Please give Sin a point.
Take
for
a
that.
point.
But aside from, I would like to note that aside from the lack of space for maneuvering to a large degree, it is quiet, but almost uncomfortably so. There are no living things in the mountain. There are no moving things in the mountain. And there is a plume of smoke, but it rises above our heads in such a way that we can probably crawl through it just fine. I did think of a contingency in case one of you needs to be made smaller, but other than that, I'm not exactly certain of what lies ahead, and it looks like we might be in that space for some time. So, keeping that in mind, I will stay ahead of things, and, well, I guess Sparky is probably the only person who's going to be able to comfortably fit through here other than Cribble.
One thing I would like to make note of. Toby, you're seeing this probably happen twice. I'm going to allow this for your passive perception. Especially now that you are not necessarily in the scene of Blackstone assisting with Cribble. You thought it was a trick of the eye, but moments after casting Greater Restoration on Deodora, the earth around the kind of pale stones shifted slightly. The color changed slightly, going from this very kind of dried out gray with hints of kind of whatever molten rock it once was to looking like it was relatively fresh, kind of brightening up within the light of the Greater Restoration and then lessening again. Similar thing happened with Blackstone casting that on Cribble. You're in a different area now. The stones are more of a gravel. And for a moment, you could kind of see them get almost enriched. Like someone had poured water out for a moment. And then it slowly faded back. It's very subtle. But you would pick up on it the most, being so attuned to nature. And for a moment, you feel like nature is literally trying to grasp onto whatever it is, whatever life it can cling to. So just want to make you aware of that. The others would not have noticed that, but you, since you were kind of literally looking for nature threads and kind of grasping at those, you would have picked up on that.
This was me, right?
This was when you cast Greater Restoration on Deodora, and now having watched Blackstone cast it on Cribble.
Okay.
It looked like a flicker of the eye, or maybe the shadow as clouds were moving overhead when you were doing it on Deodora, because your focus was on Deodora, making sure Deodora was okay.
Mm-hmm.
But in this moment, now that you're kind of watching everything happen, watching those two souls kind of connect, and Blackstone essentially helping Cribble, you see in that moment kind of the ripple effect of that as it kind of moves through Blackstone to Cribble and then downwards into the earth, the rock that's beneath them, momentarily like reinvigorating it, even for a moment, but then just snuffed out like a flame, like a candle in the wind, literally.
Okay. So it's like Toby sees that, like, makes mental notes and says to Blackstone, since he's a little bit more magically inclined too, I think that whatever this is feeding on the energy of nature itself. For a moment there, I saw how it was like seeing the past before this thing actually clasped on the. It was more of a. I saw how it should be, and now how it is. Like there's something feeding on, well, nature itself. If it might be a way to beat this thing, but it's gonna take a long, not a long, it could take a lot of power.
Wait, you mean like the cheesecake?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if it is like the cheesecake, then that means that these are not magic shenanigans.
The other thing is that this thing might be there if we continue to follow this cave. Like if the deeper we go, we might, and I say that to everybody, like the deeper we go into this cave, we might get into contact with whatever is trying to feed on nature itself.
Well, if my guesses are correct, it would be nature after a manner. Nature is a living thing.
Mm-hmm.
And living things, even things that I originally thought were inanimate, have an essence that energy can be drawn from. And if this is anything like what happened when I accidentally stabbed your cheesecake with an arrow, well, on the one hand, we've already fought several of those creatures on the way up here. On the other hand, this might be significantly more powerful than those. And unfortunately, it might not be avoidable, no matter what part of the mountain we come from.
Yeah, I don't think there was any way. I think we're going to run into this thing no matter what we do. It's going to be blocking what we need to do here. These things always are.
So if this thing is in there, then the sword might be there too. So we need to get going then.
I mean, Jordan, you said it's nighttime now, right?
You Naruto running?
I'm crawling because the cave is low.
The overlay completely cut you, so it was just your head moving back and forth at the top of your head. Yes, at this point, with conversations being had and stuff like that, it is evening. What the fuck, Dimples?
You look like the Ace Ventura.
Ask for your back.
Yeah.
Oh, the rhino
Ace
butt?
Ventura coming. Yeah, that's exactly what you look like.
It is nighttime, so the evening has settled in. You do get that warm breeze every so often from the cave itself, but largely it is much colder than where you were the night before. I would say easily between the 20s and 30s, so it is getting pretty cold up here. You don't have the proper blankets and things like that.
We have a Lehman's tiny hut,
That
bitch.
too. Well, it hasn't been cast yet. So.
Brave is out
I know,
here
I'm just saying.
shirtless, like
Flexing, dad bod, just dad bod.
I don't look like that reflection. It's just a few wrinkles. I just need a little bit of powder.
But yes, nighttime has settled in. So yes, you could certainly
I'm still there. Yeah,
push forward if you wanted to, but you then could possibly run into the encounter of exhaustion or whatever else
Yeah.
kind of
I
comes out at night. So
Yeah. I think
Taking
we've
so
been
much
we've been climbing up
time.
this mountain all day. We should get some rest first before we continue through this. Because who knows what we're gonna come across. We might not have another chance to rest.
Yeah.
Sure.
You muted.
I cannot complain about this, but resting where?
Here.
Hold on. Because I started climbing into the cave. So I had to climb back out and was like, wait, we're taking a nap.
Blackstone halfway down the tunnel, realizing nobody's followed. Yeah.
They said they had to go and it was very important.
It is important, but if we're not rested, we could make a mistake. And we don't know what's in there.
Do we have some means of warning then if we are going to rest here?
I'll take
can
first
put up-
watch. It's fine.
I can put out some hunting traps.
Well, I mean, we're going to be in the hut, right?
Are you gonna able to do the bubble thing, Blackstone?
Yeah, give us
Unfortunate-
that good bubble stuff. That good bubble.
That would be wonderful, but unfortunately, no.
Oh, you used
cannot-
one spell slot for cribble.
Son of a
did.
man. All right.
Fine. Like I said, I'll take first watch.
Can I think of a creative way to do a thing? Maybe.
I'll say this as you all settle in and Tyborn gets ready to take the first watch. Will anyone be joining Tyborn on this first watch?
Yeah, I'll join with
Okay. All right.
Tyborn.
So Toby and Tyborn, you'll be on first watch. And as each of you have dinner amongst the fire, kind of crowding around it, the temperature drops a bit. Night continues to move through. That is where we will end for today. Good job, everybody. Really good job, everyone. I'm excited and nervous for next week. But it's gonna be a wild time. Awesome job. So let's do outros. Let's start with Sin. We'll start with you.
Did I unmute myself? Yes, I did. So, hi. My name is Sin. Pronouns he, Drip. You can find me over here on the interwebs at Sinziak in most places, including Twitter while supplies last. And you can also find me hanging out with Robo in a couple of weeks doing Ace and Arrow things because it's Pride Month, and that's what that letter A and all of those letters are for. So, I'm going to be doing
not
that.
bad.
I have, it absolutely is not.
Yeah,
I have
y'all got the whole rest.
Y'all
of
got the game
year.
fucked up.
Eat shit. The
I know that's
motorcycle
right.
agrees with us.
So-
Yeah, bitch. Yes.
Work. So, the
But
motorcycle
what
said
about the
purr.
straights? Uh-huh.
Well, I'm about to
See,
move you from
even
this call.
like, see, here's the thing. Even our token trade doesn't agree with you. That's how
Yeah.
y'all have the game messed up.
You
I need
didn't
y'all to get
catch
it
the
together.
sarcasm in there. That's a you
Nah, I
problem.
did.
Now, that being said, I have been Blackstone, who who may be insightful, but honestly, it's just pattern recognition. And we know that. That's okay.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sin. Dimples.
Hello, I am Dimples and Dice, also known as Dimples and Dice, the Damp Daddy, Moist Heat, Prince, Amir Hamza. I'm all of the names. You can find me all around the internet as Dimples and Dice, though. What do I have going on? You can find me Wednesdays at Laugh Love Lindy's channel at between 8 and 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Work schedules fuck people up, so that's about as close as we can get to exact timing for a live stream. But we're doing a Good Society game where I am a problem with multiple characters. So if you want to see me at my absolute worst behavior and not like insightfully crying, talking to a dog, come see me there, because that's where you're going to find problems.
Or watch any of his other previous streams, because he's always a fucking problem.
True.
Well, not when I'm the GM.
Lion ass.
Yeah, both Fair and I were like,
Doubt.
I don't know if I believe that. Amazing.
Whatever.
Robo.
And me, RoboGoblin. You can find me everywhere at TTRP Gifts. Gonna drop the TTRPGs for Sudan on Monday, but next Friday we're gonna have the first event of the Ace and Arrow Pride, TTRPG Pride, and it's gonna be the Knowing Your Ace in Your 30s. It's gonna be a couple people from this show, and it's gonna be very cool. So I'll see you there. See you then.
And Fair.
Hi, I'm Farron. I've been Deodora Blackstone, no longer corrupted. You can follow me on Twitter and Twitch and other socials at Fairbear. You'll also find me next week. Did I say Deodora Blackstone? I'm tired. Deodora Blackstone, we're actually married now. Sorry, Aurea. No, Deodora Shadeson.
Hello, Thruples.
Thruple. No, I've been Deodora Shadeson, your Battlemaster Fighter. Follow me at Fairbear on most socials. And here on Twitch, I do stream sometimes. If you like the sound of my voice, you can also hear on Taking Initiative's 3rd season, Sword and Shield, which is a Pathfinder game set in a homebrew world. I also have some other projects coming up that haven't been announced yet, so just keep an eye out on my socials. And you will find me over on Robo's channel for the next 2 Fridays for the Ace and Arrow Con, which is going to be a lot of fun. And I'm also going to be on the TTRPGs for Sudan and like bullying Robo on that forum too. So eat shit.
Thank you, Fair. And hi, everyone. I'm D&D Jordan Lee. She, her, they pronouns. I have been your DM for today. I'll be back here tomorrow at some point, probably with some more Hades, or we might jump into another game. I don't know. I'm kind of going with whatever my brain wants to do. Yeah. So, and I'll be here on my channel until we have Ampistrano again next week. So I'm excited about that. Reminder, we are raising money for the Karam family, and I did mention before, I forgot to do it at the break just because we had some shifting of the cameras and stuff because Zoom and Meets have been acting up today. But I will have links and stuff starting later tonight for Sudan, Congo, etc. So yeah. But hang on tight, y'all. And again, thank you so much for hanging out with us on this amazing Saturday afternoon. This has been a blast. We are going to go ahead and raid someone, so stay tuned, and we'll see you next time. Beyond the Veil. Bye, everybody.